be clever and
Oh,
funny and I don't know.
I
You're all fuzzy right now, actually. So
why am I fuzzy?
I don't have a good answer that isn't going to be offensive. So
Uh,
yeah, exactly.
what do you wanna
Uh,
complain about today?
well, it gave me two options. It said let in or decline. I thought it'd be really funny to click on decline.
And then you would just complain all by yourself for
Then
half an hour?
I just Kvetch, I'm like, "Where's Kat? She said she'd be here at 6. What happened?"
She's drinking her 4th cup of coffee for the day.
I was thinking of getting coffee, and instead I got a beer, and I do want to shout out to, Amanda, also known as Batty, who I've known for years. It's a mug that she had made years ago that I bought called Blessed, and it has Mindy on the front of it, and Mindy is spelled MNDY
And
'cause
who is Mindy?
Mindy's missing an eye.
Yeah, I
That's one
see
of her
that.
cats. Yeah.
Aw, cute.
So, yeah, I love Batty and Amanda. But, yeah, that's why she's named Mindy because she's missing an eye.
Okay.
I love it. 4th cup of coffee. How's your day going then?
A 4th cup of coffee, and I haven't eaten anything, so that's how it's going, and it is 6 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. I
I
did have some creatine and I went to the gym.
creatine, is that food?
No, it's just powder.
Do you snort it? What do you
I
do
mean, you
with
could. It's a little the granules are kinda like sugar or salt, so I think that would hurt a little bit, but
Yeah, that's it. Oh, man. Hey, you want some of this creatine, dude?
yeah,
That's
so I mean,
gnarly.
I will eat at some point today. I
Okay.
eat at least once a day.
Maybe we should talk about my trauma of eating in front of other people, so.
Well, are you a sloppy eater? Are you embarrassing to sit with in a restaurant?
No, I chew with my mouth open and make smacking noises.
You know, I do know somebody no, I don't actually. Wait, rewind. I don't know somebody who did that, but I did go on a date once. I was in my 20s with somebody who ate and actually made smacking noises, and I always thought that was a cartoon thing, like a
Yeah,
what and then to actually see it in real life, that was my first date with her and my last date with her.
I had a similar experience on a date. She knew I was vegetarian, and she asked, "Is it okay if I order chicken wings?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." Odd choice for, hanging out for the first time, but chicken
Quite
wings.
messy.
If you feel yeah, quite messy, and she spent the entire time eating the chicken wings and quite literally making the loudest noises possible, and not just biting the meat off of the bones, but, like, literally sucking everything off the bones clean. Not attractive at all. It was really kinda gross, and, after we were done talking for a couple hours, had a beer or 2, and after she sucked the meat clean, I'm like, "Well, hey, time, I got it. It's a work night, da 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 da." And she really wanted a kiss goodnight. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm really not feeling it." So, one and only date, yeah.
Is
So,
our kvetch gonna be about, weird dates? Because I got a shit ton, man.
oh, maybe we should do a dating episode. Boy, I've got
Tell you
some
about the time I told a woman I was getting raptured because I wanted to get out of a date.
good. I think you told me that before.
Was
I think so.
prepping for the rapture. "I'm sorry I
Yeah.
can't go out," and then she was like, "You're nuts," and I was like, "Oh, thank God, goodbye."
Yeah, yeah. I am nuts. Yeah,
Somebody else who kept asking me a bunch of questions and then was like, "Do you need a ride to where we were meeting up?" And I said, "No, I'm gonna walk. It's only a few blocks." And she was like, "I need a ride." And I was like, "If I had said yes, how are you going to coordinate that?"
right? Just kinda oh, yikes. My favorite so, I have a still really close friend of mine. We were partners for a better part of 14 years and finally decided after a couple years of negotiating it, like, yeah, we need to move on, right? It's run its course. And it was sad but copacetic. And after that, I got on the dating apps and I went to meet this person. We decided to meet at Kennedy School and go for a soak, which is a bold first date, but okay,
Yes.
get some brunch, have a brunch cocktail and go for a soak?" I'm like, "Absolutely, why not? I'm down." And I got there, she was a few minutes late, she sat down, she's like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Honestly, I'm a little bit ragged." She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, had tickets to see the Reverend Horton Heat last night and went with my ex, Jenny, and we had a blast, but got home kinda late and, drank a little too much, but had such a great time." And she looks at me and she already ordered her drink, and she looks at me and she goes, "I thought I said I don't do poly," and walked out. And then the server comes by with our drinks and puts them down and goes, "Where'd she go?" And I'm like, "Don't know." She's like, "Do you still want the drink?" I'm like, "Not really, but sure, why not? That's fine." And I had 2 drinks and I left, paid for them, left, and, the
Interesting. So she didn't listen to you at all.
she didn't listen to me at all.
It would be
And
different if she was like, "How close are you to your ex? What's going on? Is there"
you wanna know the weirdest part of it? Went into work the following day. She worked at the same company that I did, just a different campus, and she was sitting in one of the travelers' workstations near where I sit, and I noticed her and just kept going beeline into my cube, and thankfully, it's back when they had the taller cubes,
Mhm.
and, I'm like, "Man, I'm just gonna sit here for as long as I can hold out not having to pee."
Yeah, no, we can do a weird date episode. Yeah. I don't know if I told you I went to a couple of happy hours in the spring, and there's something about them that I've never really jived with. One, I don't drink, you know that.
Yeah,
But two, I don't really like cliques.
yeah,
But it's also like, you know what? I don't have a lot of lesbian friends. I do have a number of acquaintances, but do we hang out? No. Do we chat every
yeah.
so often? Sure. But so it's like, all right, let me try this. I tried it. I'm done. And, the complaint is it's about the clique. It's about the cast. It's the inner circle. It's the outer circle.
It's
Uh,
too much
it,
work,
it feels
man.
like you're auditioning to be part of a group,
Yeah,
and there's like an information monopolization. It's like these are the people who have all the info and you have none, and you have to like either play along or you're just not quote unquote cool enough, which is everything we've experienced in high school.
yeah, yeah.
But it was also just like, wow, there's a lot of like heteronormative normative social cues here.
Yeah, I mean, so 2 thoughts on that. I'll tell you a story about how I got into a lesbian clique when I lived in Atlanta in a moment, but, I wanna talk about the codependency thing. Right after my divorce, I did date a really cool woman who I really liked. We didn't hit it off, and I think there was some misunderstanding about things, like, I was in a bad state. I just went through a divorce. My kids were moving out of state. Everything was really, really hard, right? And she was like, "Well, my ex-partner and I, after some therapy, we realized we're codependent. You sound like you're kind of codependent. Do you want to go to a Codependence Anonymous meeting with me?"
I've
I'm
been to
like,
those.
"That sounds like a fun date. Sure, let's just do it." So, I'm open-minded. I'll do anything once, twice, 6 or 7 times. Anyway, we go to the codependence meeting, and there are a lot of people there who are just really bearing their souls, but I realized in the process, I'm not codependent, I'm just sad, right? There's a difference, but, on the way out, driving back to her place, she's like, "So what did you think of the meeting?" And I can't help myself sometimes. Sometimes I have intrusive thoughts and I can't stop them, especially if I think they're really funny.
You mean
And
like Star Trek Thunk?
yeah, like Star Trek Thunk, exactly. That's a very good example. So she's like, "What did you think of the meeting?" And I'm driving along, I'm like, "Well, it's a great place to meet chicks." And
That's the end of you.
she punched me in the arm, and that was it.
Yep.
Yes, I'm like, "Fair, I earned that." But, I was gonna say, after the divorce, I went to Atlanta for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and, before that, I was homeless, and I had a really good friend of mine, Lisa, who was like, "Hey, I've got a couch. It's really cold outside. It's, like, below freezing. You're living in your car. Do you wanna crash on my couch? I have 2 rules. Don't eat the last slice of pizza and don't drink the last beer." And on Wednesday nights, or 3 rules. Wednesday nights, we watch Melrose Place. I have some girlfriends come over. And I'm like, "Alright, fine." And, like, the very first night, she's like, "Don't say anything." I'm like, "I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just sitting in the back." And within 5 minutes, everybody's like, "Oh my god," and I'm going, "That bitch." I'm, like, in it, right? So, anyway, I have a friend in Atlanta who invites me to come down there. So I moved down there and, she's like and this bar is still there in Virginia Highlands. It's called Taco Max, and they had a large screen TV, and my friend did not have a television set. I'm like, "I'm gonna miss my Melrose shows." And she's like, "I think Taco Max has Melrose on Wednesday nights." So I started showing up on Wednesday nights and sitting in the back, and there are a whole bunch of women in the front, and they're all, like, yelling at the TV and everything else. And, like, 3rd week in a row, this one woman turns around and goes, "You in the back, what's your name?" And I'm like, "Kip." I'm like, "Why don't you come sit with us? What's wrong with you?" And
So
I'm
many
like, "I
things.
don't know, y'all are friends." And like, "Yeah, we're all friends, it's okay." And they're like, "Welcome to the lesbian Melrose Appreciation Club," or whatever, right? So they kinda adopted me like a mascot, but, I was in the clique.
But see,
I got
that's
I
that
got invited to parties. It was great.
but see, that's a different sort of thing. You can figure out who's a decent group of folks,
Mhm.
and then you can totally figure out the ones that are like Heathers or Mean Girls or whatever your
Yeah,
movie is of your generation. And this has always been true. You'll find it at jobs, you'll find it with your friends, you'll find there's always like there's just a group that hangs out all the time, and they're
yeah,
very cool, and they don't give a shit, and it's like if somebody new comes around, cool, they're gonna welcome you, they're gonna be kind to you. And then
yeah.
there's the other ones where it's like you can feel like you're under a microscope or scrutinized. I could see that at these happy hours, and then I could also see some people who were just like predator and prey.
Yeah. They were super chill, and they were funny and kind, and they did kinda adopt me, which was really nice. So it was in the extended group, I got a no, that's a longer story, but I realized that I was and I've known I've had close gay friends since high school, but it wasn't until I was in Atlanta that I was first called a breeder.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, "I don't know how I feel about that." And they're like, "Did you breed?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Well, you're a breeder." I'm like, "Fuck. Okay, I'm a breeder. Alright, I'll accept it."
Yeah, I mean, I hang out with a couple of different groups, and there's a group that I ride motorcycles with, and they are some of the coolest women ever. They've gotten me more confident on how to ride a motorcycle. We've taken
Right
like
on.
300-mile trips. We text every day. We're in a group chat, and it's like
Oh,
they
cool.
will welcome somebody else in too, as long as one, you understand that riding is very serious. You
Yeah,
know, two, you don't drink or do drugs when you're riding. And
right.
three, this is more of like a sisterhood in a sense where if somebody says, "Hey, I need help," ideally, you can try and help, and if you can't, you just have to say, "Hey, I can't help today," but they push for, like, this whole, like, thing of, like, we're here for each other.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
that.
and it's like, you go to other things, and it's just like, here's a ringleader, and then here's everyone else.
Yeah,
How healthy is that?
yeah.
So
It's definitely a Portland vibe too.
it is, and you even see it in government, like, who's the cool people and who's the not cool people, and
Yeah,
it's like, well, who defines that?
right. Well, we do as far as
Yeah.
government goes.
I mean, I like the people that we interview, and obviously
Right.
I have my favorite
Tiffany's cool.
counselors.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the mayor has his little fucking clique that's pushing things through and lobbying and doing all this stuff, and it's like, "Okay, so you're gonna send us another scare tactic newsletter that says we have to have MOTA or else, God forbid, the whole city's gonna fall apart, we'll have no financial stability, we will have no tourism without MOTA? But we're gonna lose all these day centers for people who are low income and houseless?"
I don't What has not been explained in any way, shape, or form is what happens if we don't do the improvements to Moda. Are the improvements gonna make the Blazers better? No. Is it gonna increase people showing up? Absolutely not. It's gonna be less affordable. What is the actual cost benefit of investing $400,000,000 plus dollars and having a Texas billionaire that has no obligation to keep the team in Portland to begin with? None whatsoever.
Mhm.
Well, let's start the Kvetch part. The whole PPA ballot initiative to take 25% of the Portland Clean Energy Fund and
Mhm.
direct it into new hires and to do better on response time and everything else. Let's talk about that because there's two avenues here. You can look at and Portland for All did a great job of dissecting the numbers
Mhm.
of year to year. It's been about the same number of police calls have gone down, but time to response has gone up. But at the same point, fire's been whittled away a little here, a little there,
And they're faster,
and their calls have gone up
and they
and their
get to
call
them.
time has gone down.
Yep.
So what's the dichotomy here? But that's
It's a blue flu.
well, it very well could be, right? Also, they can't fill the job slots that they have now. So creating more vacancies isn't going to help anything. But the larger question is, what does policing have anything to do with a ballot initiative that was to address the myriad of environmental issues we have across the city?
Well, you know, Pip,
Nothing whatsoever.
if you arrest all those people who steal things from Target and Walmart and the mall,
They'll
and,
litter less.
they'll be
People
yes,
in getaway cars floor it and they pollute more, so
there will
we'll be
be
able to
less litter. There will be less people who can run around. I don't know.
it'll solve nothing.
I
There
know.
will be no difference.
That's what I'm talking about, inner circle, outer circle.
Yeah, so that's totally bonkers,
I
and I
also like today when you sent me the thing where he was talking about how the federal government is going to ramp up its enforcement in terms of getting immigrants, and the mayor just sends this email with no real solution other than like, Portland's a sanctuary city. It's like, cool, thanks.
yeah. I mean, no mention of the anti-masking ban
Nope. No
or the
mention.
masking ban.
Right.
No mention that ordinance also compels Portland police, if called, to validate that the people pretending or supposedly DHS or ICE agents are whom they say they are, which
Yes.
Portland police said that they would do anyway, but it's nice to have it codified. No mention of that. So how are you going to protect Portland residents, whether they're here with documentation or not?
Well, his other news that went out was that in terms of people who are living in low income buildings, he will arrest all the people who are committing crimes in those buildings and evict them out a little bit faster. So we'll get safer by putting more people in jail.
Well, that'll help the housing innovations doom loop spiral alarm that they put out, saying
Mhm.
that they're gonna shut down in 6 months because of crime, except for their entire mission talks about running safe spaces and having services available to people,
But
but they're like,
services for who?
well, it's supposedly the residents that they're housing, supposedly. But if you have rampant crime, drug use, and problems in the buildings that you're supposedly managing, how are you managing them? Did the crime just suddenly invade and infect people, and all of a sudden they're like criming and drugging? Or did you not provide the services that your mission statement as a fucking nonprofit? I think they got funding of close to $100 million, and their expenses in 2024, let's look at ProPublica, they've got a good database,
Mhm.
was, around 100 million in funding, 83 million in expenses. Okay, there's $17 million there. What are you doing with it? Why is there crime in your buildings? Why are your buildings unsafe, sir?
And this is why a lot of people are very distrustful when we talk about social housing, because what we've seen is ghettos and buildings like this where the government or a nonprofit runs it and they just turn it into a slum.
Yeah. Bunch of, buildings were shut down in Old Town and up in
Mhm.
that area because, the repairs were never kept up, and people kept complaining, and rather than fixing anything, they
They
just decided to go
close.
out of business and displace everybody.
Right, and
Look,
Reach CDC has also had a similar issue 2 years ago.
yeah,
TPI has had issues with some of their buildings. And look, these places, the people I know who work there, they hate that. They hate that the folks that they know who
Mhm.
desperately need this housing have a ceiling leaking on them,
Right.
pipes bursting or whatever it is, have infestations of bed bugs because somebody else in their building is having this issue,
Right,
or
right,
that there
right.
is crime and drugs. But then it's like, so the folks who actually could make a difference, administrative or whatever, or allocating services to help folks, they're not doing it. And I also know in
Yeah,
Central City Concern, which is not necessarily permanent housing, on a regular basis, people have died. They have
yeah.
overdosed and died. Doesn't make the news.
There's still problems, and
Yes.
and then you get the fringe organizations,
Then
as
you
they're
get
called.
Sunstone Way,
Sunstone Way.
Urban
There's
Alchemy.
as that was the fringe organization I was thinking of. If you're not as a governmental agency managing or overseeing the things you're funding effectively,
Mhm.
then why should anybody trust you? And they shouldn't, essentially, right? There was another call from mayor's office on, we're going to have a housing crisis.
Yep,
Yeah, you're the mayor.
yep,
You literally have one job, and that's to run the city based on what you campaigned on, which was ending homelessness, and you're asking neighboring counties for more money, and
right.
you're not sure how you're going to fund X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, come on, guys, you can't have it all ways.
Yeah, no, this is what we were talking to Tiffany about. He's running
Yeah,
it like a corporation. He's not running it as if he's actually taking care of human beings. He's running it as if I'll downsize this or I'll merge this and whatever. And,
yeah,
you don't know the people. And then he's like, I go to night strike under the bridge with Lance Orton from City Team, so I do know the people. And it's like, fucker, you don't. You really
no,
fucking don't.
no. It's funny. I had somebody ask me about some of the volunteer work I do, and how do I work with people who I have to work with and come up with solutions and still be critical. And I'm like, if you're in a public office or a public space and you can't handle criticism, you're in the wrong job. If there wasn't a need for a critical approach and for calling out things that are not going well, then there'd be no need for it. I'm not going to run around and say, oh, we have to get rid of capitalism because it's bad. It is, and we do. But that's beside the point. I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking for some accountability, transparency, oversight, and better outcomes.
That's too
And
big an ask.
if you're running for office and you're promising those things and you're not delivering, then you get to be criticized and you get to be voted the fuck out. That's why Charlie Hales just ran the fuck away from the office. Um,
He did. He really fucking did. He was like, we
he
have a
did.
housing crisis and we're going to have a camping ban. And then he was like, bye.
I think he thought he was on a path to something new and exciting for his career, like a governorship or something. And in year 3, I wrote, I do open letters. I haven't done one in a while. Maybe I need to do an open letter. I was like, you realize that the homeless explosion is going to be your legacy if you don't do something about it now.
Hmm.
And so I really pretty much think I single handedly made him decide not to run again.
Well, and then,
That's not the only
Wheeler.
person, but,
No, but and Wheeler was also, I believe, on a path to try and become a governor, but spending as many years as he did as mayor here and making and having so much shit come down on him, some of it definitely his making, some of it circumstances
yeah,
beyond his control, you know. He could have had more of a backbone. And then sometimes he did. And it was like, good for you. Can you keep this up? And then the answer was no. And then,
well,
he went sideways dating when he got divorced. And it was like, oh, buddy, your personal life is just all over the place now. But he was going to be a governor. He was on the governor track too. And then
yeah,
it was like, oh, homelessness is going to be your legacy. And so are the protests around Black Lives Matter and George Floyd. And he was like,
yeah,
I'm out.
yeah, yeah, he it's like, "Nope, not gonna
No,
happen."
no. So what is Wilson's legacy going to be?
I don't I we've talked about this previously. I don't know. I don't
Like he climbed out of his tree, stopped making cookies, put on a suit, took off his little elf hat, and is now sitting here making up bullshit budgets.
yeah,
So what's his legacy?
I'm just gonna look at my little boat. No, that's a great question. I don't know. I don't know why he's in it. I don't know why he was so adamant about running. I don't know what he expected to come out the other side with. And again, like I've mentioned before, I don't his constituency should be Portland in general,
Mhm.
but he's not meeting and listening to the people.
Nope.
Business doesn't like him. The lefties don't like him.
I'm not even sure if the police like him at this point.
I don't know that I don't know who his constituency is.
I
Like,
don't think I don't think, Raymond Lee even likes him. You've been watching when they're at
no,
council. Like, they doesn't even fucking look over. Like, it's at I don't know if anyone fucking likes him.
I think Lee
Lance
is
Orton
kind
likes him. Lance likes him.
Lance likes him, yeah.
Yes.
No, no, no. I think Lee I to learn more about him, because I need to know background before I can form an opinion. I'm still working on under Lee has been interesting, but I don't have a sense of who he is here in Portland, but I
Mhm.
joined the Greeley, Colorado Reddit subreddit. It's fascinating. They are more lefty than Portland,
It's
which I
not that hard.
appreciate. No, it's not that hard, honestly.
No. No, we
Um,
think we are a left, weird, democratic, blah, 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 counterculture city, and honestly, we're just a gentrified democratic city.
yeah, no, pretty much. But yeah, I agree. Greeley's conversation about Lee leaving for Portland was meh. Honestly, the biggest thing he oversaw was some mall redevelopment thing that people weren't sure about the
Mhm.
funding or the purpose of it, and that was the biggest controversy.
My
But
problem was how much money the man
mhm,
is like, how like, I know how much he made in Greeley, it was in the 300s and bonuses and all this other shit, so it's like, clearly he didn't take a pay cut to come here, so it's like, how much?
yeah,
I do like when he is honestly critiquing things that could be improved.
yeah.
And it's like, okay,
It's
good. He's giving a good opinion. He's not acting like Oliveira or the other guys or just like going, well,
yeah,
maybe this is what we've always done. He actually is stating like this is missing or
yeah.
this is not the way we should do this for a city
It's
of this
few and
size.
far between, though.
Yeah, I know.
It really, it's really, it's lacking something. When I think of a city manager, I think
So
of a very active, involved, aggressive type person, especially if you're coming in and changing everything
yeah,
in
no,
a
he
government that's
doesn't have that. Yeah, no,
no,
he doesn't have that. He doesn't have a soul or a heart for the city.
no. Well, it's brand new to him. He
I
got
know.
sold a bill of goods probably, and that's why he's probably side-eyeing, Wilson.
Mhm.
It's like, this isn't what I'm thinking."
Meanwhile, let's talk about what New York City. I mean, look at what that mayor's up to. Every 5 minutes doing something else cool or unveiling a plan that he ran on and he's fucking doing it. Oh, and also, can we talk about the fact that Trump went to the fucking Knicks game and they lost?
Yeah, no. He brought so much negative energy into that space.
And
It
he fell
crushed
asleep
MS and
during
he
the
fell asleep.
game.
Yeah. My favorite was the footage of his motorcade approaching Madison Square
Oh, yeah.
Garden and people screaming obscenities at him.
And people went
Uh,
to Trump Tower the day before and they were and chanting "New York hates you." But
I don't
also,
know.
the watch party got canceled because he was coming. People couldn't go into Madison Square Garden and
Oh,
buy things. They couldn't go in with certain size bags. They
they had to
couldn't.
wait hours longer to get in.
So
Yeah.
if you wanted to buy a T-shirt or a hat or whatever, you also couldn't.
My
Everything
fa
got fucked up because of that asshole who's like, "I'm gonna go to a Knicks game." No, fucker, don't.
my favorite, New York slash Orange Shit Gibbons story is I was in New York 2016 or early 2017. I took a taxi to get across town, and, I just picked up a Dunkin' Donuts coffee and a donut, and I totally forgot that a regular coffee in New York City meant cream and sugar.
Mhm,
I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "This has cream and sugar." Like, "Yeah, you asked for a regular." I'm like,
mhm,
"Oh, I'm sorry, I just meant black." "Well, you have to say black." I'm
mhm.
like, "Can I get a black?" They're like, "Go to the other end of the line." I'm like, "Fuck." I'm gonna drink my coffee. So
And
I
it's
get in the
usually
cab.
and it's something like 3 sugars, like, they
Yeah,
don't play.
it was
Yeah,
horrific.
I know,
Um,
and it's
anyway,
Dunkin' Donuts, so it's already a sweet coffee.
I get into a cab, guy driving's Russian, and I always talk to the people driving
Mhm,
because my life is in their hands, right? So I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" He's like, "I'm good, my day is good," and, I can't do a Russian accent, but anyway, I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. How long you been in New York City?" He's like, "Oh, I've been here, like, 14 years." I'm like, "Okay, you've been here a while then. What do you think of, the recent election?" And I forget who what's his face? Adams became mayor, I think, at that point. I forget. Doesn't matter. And like some Republicans won or some conservatives won, and he was all excited about it. I'm like, so what do you think about Trump? He's like, fuck that guy. And I'm like, right on. You're like, no, fuck that guy. Fuck him. He's not a New Yorker. Fuck him. And I'm
yeah,
like, all right, I'm with my people. There's so many things we can disagree on, but there are certain core value things that are never going to change. New Yorkers fucking hate him,
mhm. Oh, yeah,
and
we've always
as they
hated him,
should. Um,
especially after 9/11, where he got on the news and was like, "My building is now the tallest building after the towers fell," and it's like, "How dare you? How fucking dare you?" It's like 3,000 people died. We almost lost a whole preschool of children, but your building's the fucking tallest.
this is a great segue into Graham Plattner, guy running for Senate against Susan Collins in Maine. Great platform, like really populist and progressive, and I guess he's got some charisma. I haven't actually heard him speak, but people are like, yeah, he fires up the crowd, all this other shit. Then all these negative things about his past are coming out, like he got some skull and crossbones that was Nazi related, but he served in the military, he served in Afghanistan. I'm like, that tracks. He has multiple girlfriends of his come out and say that he never abused them, but he was unkind to them. Like, he's not a good guy and everything else. I'm like, okay, anybody who served in the military probably has trauma, is fucked up anyway. Probably lied about whether he knew it was a Nazi skull and crossbones or not,
Mhm,
right? But who cares? Because the amount of scrutiny on this one dude is so outsized compared to all the other people who get a fucking pass. It reminds me of Al Franken, who did the most least offensive things ever and immediately got pushed out of the Senate, right? If you're going to have a purity test of people in politics, first of all, if it's not the same level of purity, then it's bullshit.
mhm.
Second of all, if you're going into politics, there's probably something wrong with you anyway. And no offense to some of our favorite people like Tiffany, who we just interviewed. And the only thing I would say is wrong with Tiffany is like she decided to go into politics, but she did it for all the right reasons. But I'm still like, doesn't seem like a great idea. I'm just kidding. I'm so glad that she's there and that she won and she will win again because she's amazing. But chances are you've got an ego. Chances are you've got a past. Chances are you're kind of a human being and you're probably flawed.
It's like people who go into different types of show business and stuff or perform. There's gotta be a little bit of ego, a little bit.
Yeah.
There has to
So
be.
pulling apart, scrutinizing him as a human being, fair.
Mhm.
But if you're going to compare what everybody else puts up with on the other side of the spectrum compared to this guy's a fucking angel. I mean, talk about Mark Kruger, who made it to what, captain in the Portland Police Bureau, the dude that set up a shrine to the SS
Yeah,
in a
he had all
public
that
park.
memorabilia. Yeah.
Yeah, he was turned in by another cop and got fired and then reinstated because the PBA defended him. Like, free speech, man. I'm like, I am Jewish. I don't want a Nazi cop supposedly serving and protecting me.
Who is the cop who made wanted signs of Antifa protesters?
Oh, fuck.
'Cause he also did not get fired.
No.
No.
No, Kruger's wife was on the, PPS board for a while too, which doesn't sit well. Like, if you're
Mm-mm.
married to a Nazi, you're kind of a Nazi too, probably.
Officer Colby Panther, who I believe now is Detective Colby Panther, his wife was running the Voices Behind the Badge account on Instagram, who was going after Joanna Hardesty with like so much momentum and every racist thing you could think that a white woman would call a black woman, this woman did. She also doxed me too, but she fucking like worst goddamn people. And it's like, oh, these are the people I call when something
Yeah,
terrible happens and it's beyond my capacity and also not my responsibility. You've
yeah,
you've taken this job to quote unquote get the bad guys or
yeah,
solve mysteries or whatever the fuck you're doing, but you're a fucking racist and you
yeah.
would probably gladly lynch somebody in this town, but you actually have to go figure out, how have they been harmed? How can we trust you?
Yeah, and that level of scrutiny, and you still get to keep your job,
Right, because you're in the
right?
fucking union and Aaron Schmaltz is doing the PPA dance every 5 seconds.
Yeah, it just like, let's just accept there are garbage people out there, and garbage people are gonna run for office or be in
Hmm.
positions of power. What are they doing with that position of power? Are they trying to help people, or are they perpetuating the harm that
Right.
they inhabit in their own lives, right? So, I think I really I'm conflicted about it, but let's say Graham Plattner on his worst day is still better than Susan Collins on her best day, giving us Brett Kavanaugh and repealing Roe and all the other garbage fucking things she's voted for. There's a dichotomy that doesn't make sense. I'm not saying we should platform people who are shitty. I'm
No,
just saying
but
that
but
people are not perfect. It's
yes.
what they are doing now and whom they purport themselves to be now that I'm more concerned with than the tattoo they got 12 years ago or whatever it was.
Well, and also vote strategically. I mean, this goes back to a couple of weeks ago when it was
Less
like,
harm versus more harm.
yeah,
Yeah.
where it's like, look, if you wanted to vote for Jill Stein or you wanted to vote for Ralph Nader, and like I was 20 something and I made that like I'm going to vote ideally, but I also lived in New York City, so like
Right. It
I could have
didn't
voted
make
for
a
a gar.
difference.
No,
Yeah.
I could have voted for a garbage can. We all knew New York is blue. Thankfully, Oregon is blue.
Yeah.
It could flip any moment.
Yeah.
But when I talk to people recently and they're like, "Oh, I voted for Jill Stein and blah blah blah," I'm like, "So you don't care about black people?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" And it's like, "You actually don't fucking care because you should have voted strategically. We should have third parties and fourth parties and fifth parties." It's like we absolutely should. But what is the reality today? The
Right.
reality today is we have Trump running. Who do you want?
Right. Well, and
Who's gonna fucking throw immigrants in a jail and let them rot?
you're going to
Was it gonna
vote
be Harris or Trump?
you're gonna vote for the candidate that accepted to go to a state dinner with Putin, because Jill
Yeah,
Stein did that too.
I know. And have you seen and her mutual funds got her in big trouble too. She was investing in Halliburton. She was investing in
Yeah.
prisons. It's like just because she talks a good game and you're stupid.
I think the stupid is the biggest part of it,
But I
right?
was like but I was like, look at our choices. Do you honestly think Harris would be doing what Trump is doing?
Yeah, absolutely not. Is she problematic? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But less harm versus more harm.
But you
And
know
I'm
what?
always
Apparently we are not ready for a female president and we're definitely not ready for a black female president and a black Asian female president.
but her laugh is annoying, Kat.
Trump is annoying.
No, no, you
He
totally
doesn't even have to open his mouth.
yeah, no, his breathing, the fact that he breathes is annoying.
Well, and how many near-death experiences has he now had? Would there if Harris was president, would there be a UFC fight ring being built at the fucking White House?
It is literally Idiocracy. It is
I know.
literally a Mike Judge movie.
Life imitates art.
Drano. It's what plants crave.
Can't we have Dogma instead where Alanis Morissette is God?
Yes, please. Where
Oh, yeah, that
Bud
was
Cort
actually,
was God and Alanis Morissette becomes God, yeah.
I'd rather have that
And
as
George
my
Carlin as the Pope or the Cardinal of New York. Oh my god. Like, that movie, I have it on 4K, we have to have a watch party. My kids bought it for me for Hanukkah. I like, "Dad, we"
It's a good Hanukkah
yeah,
present.
my kids are amazing. They're like, "We know what you love,
Mhm.
and this is now out on 4K. Here you go." And I'm like, "You are the best children ever."
We should wrap this up.
No, let's keep talking.
Do you have any final thing to complain about?
So many things. I think the main things like the stupidity with the chronic housing stuff, the budgeting with, PPA and PSEF, and, the idea that we can't elect shitty human beings who are better than shittier human beings. Those are my 3 main things.
I mean, if you want somebody better, then yeah, let's get some people trained, educated, motivated, and help them run.
Yeah, please,
I
please
mean,
run for office.
our current city council is a very good cross section of the values of this city.
Yeah, it's almost perfect.
If we want to change the world, then we also have to make sure we give each other the tools to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, and
So
and
every
and
time we
build a
take away a
framework to keep it
service,
going forward. Yep,
yeah, every time you deny a service or make it harder for some kid who's poor to go to college or some representation is no longer seen, like it's very important that somebody like Tiffany and Samir are in office for other people to see, and Aunt Helly, anyone. I mean, it's very important. They're all fucking up
Candace,
there.
yeah,
Candace, Laura. I mean, it's like representation has always been important because prior to this, and you know this too, it's like growing up, how were minoritized people portrayed on TV and movies? They were the butt of the jokes a lot of times, or they were the sidekick, or, and then it's like, all right, now they have a seat
yeah,
at the table. And then it was, but only the nice ones, only the acceptable ones, only
right,
only like the Barack Obama kind, the ones
right,
who went to
right,
Harvard, the educated, the Cosby Show kind.
right. Well, I was just thinking Cosby Show,
Which
but
is the inner circle, outer circle caste system. It comes all the
right.
way back to fucking cliques. Who's in your clique?
You go to a show like Good Times with John Amos as the
Which I
dad.
fucking love that show.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
my god.
the show was amazing, but
Sanford and Son.
Sanford and S no, there's some really problematic fucking episodes of
I
Sanford.
know, but it was
There's some I mean, some seriously homophobic shit.
I know, but still
It
it
was
was
still yeah, no, I mean, good shit, right?
all right. How about 227?
Room 227?
No, no,
Well,
227.
I don't think
After
you're
Jefferson's, it was a spinoff.
I don't know 227,
Oh
no.
my gosh, look it up when you're done.
Okay.
They
I mean,
literally
I
hung out
liked,
on the stoop.
What's
All the
Happening. I
What's
loved
happening was
What's
great.
Happening.
Yeah.
But,
But all of those shows.
when they try to temper the racial politics of Good Times, John Amos said, "Fuck this," and left. No, I dig that show a lot. It gave heart and meaning to just living in poverty.
And I mean, honestly, so did the show Roseanne for white people who are
Mhm.
living and struggling paycheck to paycheck. Those shows are very real, and like there aren't shows like that on TV anymore.
No, no, I mean, it's all
Because race and class sometimes are hand in hand in terms of what's the disenfranchised moments. And the more we take away these accessibilities and we make it harder and everything's out of reach, you're going to have a very elite group of people who, in theory, understand policies, who are going to law school, who are running for office, who are doing IT.
yeah,
And then what are the rest of the people doing? Just following around and being codependent on the elite,
yeah.
which then becomes the system of caste. So
You
you
get
either had it on a
out of it.
small level of you're the cool kid and you're the dumb kid, or you have it on a grand level of here's the servants and then here's the king.
Been watching Farscape, which I never saw.
I haven't watched that in probably 10 years.
Yeah, when I was raising children when it came out, so I didn't watch a ton of TV, but been watching it. The episode I saw last night, they were on a planet of lawyers. 90 90% of the people are attorneys, And
That's
the
awful.
people who run the most powerful political organization was the largest law firm on the planet. And they murdered the person that was trying to help the plebeians. I forget what they were called in the show, but the unimportant people. But the industry was built around 10% of the people are just problems, and the law kept growing to make sure that the folks that had the power stayed in power. And it was really well done. It needed to be another hour to really tell the story. I was really blown away by that. But it goes to exactly what you're saying, is that people in power tend to construct the world that keeps them in power, and
Mhm.
everybody else gets to struggle.
So, moral of the story, kids, do you wanna be a Starbelly Sneetch or not?
Starbelly Sneetch.
You never read Dr. Seuss?
I did.
Starbelly Sneetches?
I don't recall the
Did you ever read
Starbelly.
the book by Mark Twain, The Man Who Ruined Hadleyville?
No.
Very much the same as
I was
Starbelly Sneetches.
English lit major, but neither of those are ringing a bell, so.
Alright, well, pretty much the same story, honestly, is Starbelly Sneetches. They're yellow fuzzy dudes, right, with a big belly. And this guy comes to town and says, "Hey, I could put a star on your belly and you could be cool." And they're like, "Ooh, yeah." So some of them get it, and then they're like, "I have a star on my belly. I am a Starbelly Sneetch. You're a piece of shit, worthless Sneetch. You don't have a star."
I like
So
that, yeah.
then, there's this whole thing where they're like, "Well, I want a star. How do you get a star?" And it's like, "Oh, that's for the elite." "Well, how do we do this?" And it's like, "Oh." So it becomes this whole snake oil thing.
Oh, wow, okay.
Starbelly Sneetches. Man Who Ruined Hadleyville, he goes to this town in upstate New York, which was actually, I believe, which I think he got inspiration from Fredonia, which is
Oh,
where I went to
wow,
college.
okay.
And this town is doing pretty good. And he starts putting ideas in people's heads. And I can't remember the story completely, but he starts saying, I think there's like a raffle or something. This might be completely wrong. Somebody correct us. But basically he ruins the whole town because everyone starts turning on each other.
I was
Cause,
just
cause it's one of those, "Oh, you think you're a fucking utopia? Well, I know that so and so actually has, 500 more pieces of gold than you do, or blah blah blah, or this person said that you're a bitch."
I was just talking about this Twilight Zone episode, Nightmare on Maple Street or something like that, where everybody on this one street loses power except for one house, and everybody steps outside like, what's going on? And like, well, they have power, why don't we have power? What's happening? And then they're like questioning the family, and then all of a sudden this other house now has power and the rest of the people don't, and like, no, it's them, they're the problem. And it keeps escalating over half an hour, where it turns into like a street-wide civil war where no one trusts each other because somebody has something that the
Mhm.
other people don't have. And it's like,
Manufactured scarcity,
you know,
elitism over equality.
good shit.
And this is how I don't know if that's capitalism or if it's just being human, but this is how we've operated.
That's capitalism. I mean, hunter gatherers shared with each other. And
Hunter
well,
gatherer, predator prey.
I wasn't gonna go predator prey, but hunter gatherers kind of like shared and traded with each other. And I've got a actually bad story about that, so I'm not even gonna go down
All
that route.
right.
But anyway, all right.
But yes. So this week's Kvetch was about groups and cliques and how it fucks us all up on a political level and on a personal level.
And dating and TV shows.
We should have a dating thing.
We should have several guests to come and share their worst stories. Let's
Of
put
the
a
of
feeler
the
out.
9 people who like us, if you
Yeah,
have a funny fucking dating story that you would like us to share or read on your
reach out.
behalf,
Yeah,
please tell us.
yeah, I like it. I like it.
People talk to us. Not you, Owendorf. I don't want to hear from you. But other people talk to us and tell us your funny shit because the world's depressing.
Yeah, please. All right.
All right. Anyway,
Peace out.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Progress Portland
Bye.
is also on Facebook and Instagram, and we have event listings and updates on our website, progressportland.org. There's a content form on our website if you'd like to help out or have questions or comments. Our theme music is by the Portland band Helvetia.